Katie here from the Scrappy Sisters, and I am up today with a super exciting video. I have been invited, I guess, along to be the, I can't remember what they've called it, the guest sparkler. I'm not sure what they've called it, on Spiegelmom Scraps for this month, the month of, what are we in, October. And so I have been invited to do 2 layouts using Spiegelmom Scraps sequins. And I won an awesome prize pack from Spiegelmom Scraps. Whew, say that 10 times with, fast. It's quite a tongue twister. And Jody is sending me a prize pack, but as we know, postage takes a really long time to Australia and it hasn't arrived yet. So I actually only own, shock horror, 2 packs of Spiegelmom Scraps. One is this awesome pack called Vintage Dowry, which only has like, a half dozen sequins left in it. And this was part of a collaboration with Spiegelmom Scraps and Confessions of a Paper Addict cut file shop. So I've already used a heap of these in a layout using a Confessions of a Paper Addict cut file and then these sequins. And then I also have this cool pack of sequins called Holiday Magic, which you could see if that sequin mix would move. But it's a super cool kind of blues and greens, and they've got these cute little Christmas trees, and they also had white snowflakes. But I have already used these for one layout. And what I've actually done is off camera, because I didn't know if it would work. So I'm really sorry I didn't film this, but I used my fuse tool. Actually, it's not my fuse tool. It's Jessica's fuse tool, but I borrowed it to create this cute little shaker pocket using a whole heap of those Vintage Dowry sequins. Now it's super messy. I don't know if you can see. It's not super neat. And I've also got this cut file, which is an exclusive cut file, but it's a freebie from Spiegelmom Scraps. I don't know what it's called, but the words in here, which you'll see me use in a minute, says every summer has a story. And so that is the cool cut file with the letters, which are in here, all of the letters, but I'm going to do something with those shortly. And so what I'm doing is I'm actually creating a 9x12 album for my son using, let me show you actually. So I've got this album here, which I'm going to use to create a 9x12 album for my son. And what I'm actually doing is I've got these milestone cards and I'm creating a layout for each milestone. So they've got things like weeks, like 10 weeks old, 11 weeks old, and then they go into months. I've got some other bits of ephemera already shoved in, but like 9 months, then my first birthday, things like I rolled over, like a boss, whatever that means, open to interpretation. I need sleep, my first tooth, oops, I pooped, hilarious, first smile, and so on and so forth. So I got those milestone cards before Link was born, and I never actually took any photos with the milestone cards. But I had this cool idea that I think I want to create layouts using those milestone cards with the photos that relate to those milestones with a bit of journaling, and then Link can have that when he gets older. So most of you might know if you watch my channel, I am doing a digital Project Life album for Link's first year, which I'll print into a photo book and he can keep that. I'm not doing a physical album for him for his first year. He's going into obviously our family album, but not an album on his own. So that is a very long intro for me to say this is going to be the title page for that album, because Link was born on the 22nd of January. In Australia, January is summer, so I thought every summer has a story is a cute little layout or a cute little saying. And I've got this photo of him on the day that he was born, and he's our summer story, so to speak. Pretty corny, but I think it's cute. So that is what I'm doing. Now this little shaker pocket is actually going to go under this part of the banner. And if I've got it here, which I don't know if I do, I actually used, here we go. I don't know if you can see this, it's actually half of a 12x12 Design A pocket page. And I just used one of the 3x4 cards. I would have made more shaker pockets for these bigger ones, but these 3x4 or 4x6 slots in the pocket pages aren't big enough. And I didn't want to waste a 12x12 pocket because I don't have very many of them. So we've just got one shaker pocket, but that's okay. It is going to go there. There'll be words on top of it. And then I've got a few sequins left that I'm going to sprinkle around. Whoops, I'm going to sprinkle around on the layout. So that is sort of where I'm going with this. Now, I'm using the Cocoa Vanilla Studio Midnight Collection. I've already decided that this is going to be my background page. Now, I know what you're all thinking. It's florals. Link's a boy. I don't care. I'm going to be brutally honest. I don't care. I love florals. I love pinks. I love Cocoa Vanilla Studio. I'm going to use it. It makes me happy. And I don't care that I have florals on my layout of my son. So there we go. That's my soapbox for the day. Now, what I want to do though is some mixed media. So I've just got a pizza box here that one of my deliveries came in, which I often use for mixed media because it's a little bit easier to keep the mixed media contained. And these are the letters. Oh, they're all caught. These are the letters that form the word Every Summer Has a Story. So I just have to make sure there's a right and a wrong way for these letters. So I'm just making sure they're all the right way. And what I'm going to do is use my Heidi Swapp Colour Shine in navy, give them a bit of a spray just to give them a bit of colour. They won't be evenly coloured, but they fade into the background a little bit onto this pattern paper. So I'm just going to give them a spray and add them to this. I may also spray this part, but I'm not sure yet. I'm going to put you on fast forward and we're just going to see how it all comes together. So I've got my baby wipes here because I will need them. And I'm just going to move these things out the way just in case I have some spray that goes rogue. And we'll give them a spray and you'll see the results in the voiceover. Okay, so this is just a very quick voiceover for about a minute while I explain to you what I'm doing, and then I come back live for a little while. So I'm just laying out all my letters, as I said in my intro, in this pizza box that I got a Scrappy delivery in. I always keep 1 or 2 on hand just for this kind of mixed media work because it just saves my desk. Although when you use mist, it still goes everywhere anyway. And I've got the Heidi Swapp Colour Shine in navy, and all I'm doing is spray, 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 spray. So potentially I go a little bit overboard, but it's hard to get them covered when you're using a spray like this because it's hard to make it directional and not sort of waste too much spray, but that is okay. So I'm spraying, but it also is going everywhere. My sister suggested that I wipe a bit off with a baby wipe, but I didn't like that look, so I end up spraying it again, and then we're done. I'm going to come back to you in live mode and explain the kind of outcome. So yeah, here we go. I'm coming back at you in live. Okay, so I sprayed these. You'll see I did quite a bit of spray. I don't know that it's going to show up very well on camera, but in real life, in high quantities, this spray is so shimmery and vibrant. It is by far my favorite. Anyway, I have sprayed it. I am going to let it dry naturally. You would have seen me dab some off with the baby wipe, but I didn't like the look that that gave. So I'm just going to let this dry naturally and going to go from there. So I will come back because this is going to take a while to dry. So I will come back and continue on with the layout. I still haven't decided yet about spraying this. We will work that out together on camera. But yeah, gonna let these dry, and when you next see me, all of this will be gone and I'll be working on my layout in fast forward and voiceover mode. All right. Okay, so here I am. I let all my letters dry and I probably waited a few hours, just did some other things, played with my son, all that jazz. And in the meantime, I decided actually not to spray my banner. I'm leaving that white. I've still stuck with that floral piece with my pattern background. I've just stuck that down onto some white cardstock, which I cut at 9 by 12. And I'm going to now stick my banner on. Now I make a little bit of a boo-boo here. Silly me. But anyway, I cover my banner in glue and then I realised, hang on a minute, I was supposed to put that shaker pocket under there. So thankfully, because it was wet glue, I could peel it up a little bit because it hadn't quite stuck yet. Slide my shaker pocket under there and then I just add a little bit more glue just to hold it down. And it's been a few days since I made this layout and it's still held together well. It hasn't slipped out or anything, so I think that glue is doing its job. So I am adding just a little bit more glue, as I said, and then I'm going to lay out my embellishments. I sort of in my head had planned where I wanted to put things, but I'm just kind of laying things out, having a bit of a fiddle around, see where it all fits, and then I'll start sticking. This layout actually took me a lot longer than it normally takes me to do a layout. I'm normally relatively fast scrapper. Relatively. It takes me about half an hour to 40 minutes to do a layout, but this one took much longer than that. I think it was probably closer to 40 to 50 minutes, maybe even up to an hour to do this layout. So yeah, it's a little longer than usual for me, but I think it was just because it was a little bit fiddly with all of the sticking down of the letters, but also then the sequins, and it was just a lot more kind of detail than I am normally used to. So you can see here, just creating some clusters, adding a few bits. So I don't know if I said this at the start, but I'm using is it the Happiness collection? The Unforgettable collection. You think I would know this by Cocoa Vanilla. Let me just check my stash here, folks. Maybe it's Midnight. Might be Midnight, I think. The Midnight collection. So yes, I've used the Midnight collection by Cocoa Vanilla Studio, and I have, well, you just saw me edit it out, but I've put the words down, created my little clusters, made sure that the words fit in the banners. So now I am just going to stick down. So I've got a really small photo I showed you at the start, and I've just thought it would look cute framed in this frame. So I end up sticking the frame on and then trimming off the excess of the photo. I went with the coloured photo of my son. I just thought it stood out a little bit better than the black and white. So I've still got the black and white one in my stash. I'll throw it into a traveller's notebook or a junk journal or something like that. I don't like to waste photos that I've printed out, so I end up just throwing them in something that I'm just doing for fun. So yeah, my junk journal, my traveller's notebook, whatever I've got lying around takes all my old photos or my spare photos. So I stuck a couple of random pieces of ephemera on this actually, a little geometric shape thing, a few banners, a couple of little tags, and then I created a little like a mason jar vase of flowers in the bottom left. All a little random, but just things that I thought worked on this layout. So I'm sticking that down, popped the photo up with some foam, and then tucking this little tag in. I don't actually remember what it says. Sorry, I don't have the finished layout in front of me. I'm just working from my iPhone screen, and it is much too small to read that little banner. And so I've stuck that down. Now I'm working on my bottom cluster. As I said, I've created a little mason jar kind of vase. So I'm sticking some leaf pieces to my mason jar and then sticking all of that down onto my layout, and then I'll add some flowers around that. So I think I add a couple into the top of the mason jar, and then I add one down on the bottom as if sort of one of the flowers has kind of fallen out of the mason jar, so to speak. And then I add a little tiny word sticker as well. And that's that cluster done. And then I'll move on to the top cluster, and then I'll stick my letters down. So I don't know, how have you guys been enjoying the Spiegelmom Scraps kind of challenges that are happening in the Facebook group? If you're not a part of that Facebook group, you should totally join. Even if you don't have a lot of Spiegelmom Scrap sequins, like me, I do not. I had 2 packets, as I said, and believe it or not, the day after I made this layout, I actually got my prize package in the post. So it would have just come in time for me to finish my layout, but I was just panicking a little bit about getting my layout done in time, so I just made one with the supplies that I had, and not that I'm disappointed, because I think this layout looks fabulous, if I don't say so myself. But I got 6 packets of sequins from Jody. Amazing. And they're so cute. There's so many different colours that I can play with. And do you know what I didn't know, except I watched a live from Jody the other day? She's got cute little like inspirational quotes on the back of them that you could totally cut out and put into your layouts or spreads. Like one of mine says, daydreaming incubates creative discovery. Be the magic. Do whatever brings you to life. Every artist was once an amateur. You are your only limit, and no one ever discovered anything new by colouring inside the lines. How cute is that? So I thought that was totally adorable. So yes, definitely go and join the Facebook group. I'll leave it linked down below. Jody and the design team girls there have challenges, and you can become the monthly, I can't remember what they're calling it, sparkler. I can't remember what they're calling it. So, but they scrap lift you, and you get a little prize like me, and you can create layouts for them to feature. That's optional though, you don't have to. But I just thought it was a bit of fun. And yeah, it was fun. And they have free cut files. They have lots of stuff, so you could definitely go check them out. I'll make sure I leave that linked down below. And what am I doing now? I'm just adding a few other little pieces of ephemera to the left hand side of my cut file. Now the only reason that I did that, I didn't really want to because I quite liked the 3 clusters, but I needed to add something there to kind of hide the messiness of the shaker pocket. So a little bit of the plastic was kind of poking out and I didn't really like the look, so I just added those love hearts to kind of cover that. And then I wanted to get one of these flare badges onto the layout because I don't really like them. I just find them hard to use. I have to stop buying them, actually. I mean, seriously. Why buy things that I don't like? I just like all of Cocoa Vanilla, but I just don't use the flare badges. So I think next time I need to say no to the flare badges. Now, the ephemera that I just tipped out is actually the clear stickers, which I stuck onto white cardstock and fussy cut out. So I find the clear stickers also a little bit hard to use. I do love them though, but I do find them a little tricky, particularly if you're trying to use them on pattern paper. So yeah, I stuck these ones onto plain white cardstock and just fussy cut them out, and then you've sort of got extra die cut pieces. So I'm just sprinkling some of those around. So I've got some smaller flowers and I think some love hearts as well that I add. I don't add a heap, but I do add a few. And then I come back in with some sequins, of course. So you can see my Vintage Dowry sequin mix on the left there, and I am determined to use it all up. I should have probably put more of them in the shaker pocket because I didn't need as many sprinkled around as I end up using. It's a little OTT, but I wanted to use them. I didn't want any left, because I thought it's not very often that you use up a whole packet of sequins, so I was going to do that. And so I do. But I edit out me sticking them all down because that's just a bit tedious. I know it's supposed to be a video featuring sequins, and so I probably shouldn't have edited out me sticking down the sequins, but I'm literally just putting a dab of glue and sticking the sequins down. I tried to use my little pickup tool thing that has like a sticky end, but actually it was too hard to use it with the small sequins, so I just quickly put that away and just went with my fingers and used the kind of spatula end of the tool to help me kind of position them. And that was it. I'm just sprinkling them around. There we go. All done. I've literally got rid of all of my sequins. I add some splatters, again in the navy, Heidi Swap Colour Shine. I kind of wish I hadn't done this, but it's too late now. You can't take back splatters. They are on the layout to stay. It doesn't look bad or anything, but after I did it, I went, I think it looked better without. But anyway, live and learn, live and learn. So we're all done. I used up my sequin mix. I'm going to show you some close-ups, and then I've actually got a few close-up photos at the end as well, so you can better see the shaker pocket. And I hope you enjoyed this layout. Definitely go and check out the Spiegelmom Scraps Facebook group. I was so excited to be there monthly, kind of focused, and it was heaps of fun. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.